呪術全盛の時代、術師が総力を挙げて彼に挑み、敗れた。孫うことなき呪いの王だ。
The most anticipated non-sequel of fall 2020, Jujutsu Kaisen, is finally here. I just watched the first episode and loved it. Everything from the prologue, the opening, the animation, the soundtrack, to the execution of the plot, and then of course, the breathtaking action, it was all well done. It far exceeded the image I had of this anime when I first saw the trailer. Indeed, it was well worth the wait. As you guys already know, I told you that if it lives up to the hype, I will be doing weekly episode reviews. And now, we'll be doing just that. Let's start with how this episode started. We are immediately taken to a scene where the main character, Itadori Yuji, is confined to a chair with his hands all tied, and he appears to be quite beaten up. In front of him is a very shady looking guy. He asks Itadori, "So which one are you now?" the moment he opens his eyes. But Itadori is out of it and doesn't seem to understand his words. He replies with another question, "Aren't you?" hinting that he must have already seen him before. The shady guy replies by saying that he is a teacher at Jujutsu Tech. Now, of course, for the already worn out Itadori, making sense of all this was asking for too much. So the moment he becomes a bit more conscious, the first thing he asks is, where are his friends? And then this prologue or intro or whatever you want to call it ends with the teacher telling him that there is no need to worry about them right now. It's been decided that Yuji is going to be secretly executed. Now, I know that seeing all this right at the beginning of the very first episode obviously doesn't make any sense. However, when I continued to watch the episode, my mind just automatically started connecting the dots between what they showed in the intro and what was actually happening in the episode. Which is why I wonder just how intentional was this scene. It raised these questions. Why was Itadori all tied up? What is Jujutsu Tech? What did that shady teacher mean when he said, "So which one are you now?" I haven't read the manga, but after the whole episode, I begin to understand the possible answers to these questions. The reason Itadori is all tied up is probably because they found out that Itadori devoured one of the cursed objects, which just so happened to be Ryomen Sukuna's finger. As for what is Jujutsu High, we know nothing about it, and it's definitely not Itadori's high school. And as for why the teacher asked him, "Which one are you now?" looks like Itadori will always have a part of Sukuna inside of him, and you'll have to constantly fight against him for control over his body. That is the price he paid for greater magical prowess. Be that as it may, there's always no telling what is going to happen next in horror anime. But one thing is for sure, unlike other shonen anime, this one didn't even pretend to build up to something. It cut right to the chase. We have a lot to look forward to in the upcoming episodes, guys. I am telling you all. The rest of this episode was about the introduction of a few characters. We have the 3 members of the occult club. There's the athletic club's teacher who wants to recruit Itadori no matter what. Then there is Fushiguro Megumi, a guy who seems to be on the lookout for something, at least until he came face to face with Itadori. And then of course, there's Itadori's grandfather, who died full of regret after telling Itadori that he is strong, so he should help people without expecting gratitude, so that he doesn't end up like him. Those are the old man's last words before he hit the end of his life. Even though Itadori was trying to keep his cool, it became obvious from the look in his eyes that he was devastated. His grandfather had just died. But before he could even cheer himself up, Fushiguro appears out of nowhere and introduces himself as an apprentice exorcist at Jujutsu Tech. Now back to the scene when that shady teacher introduces himself. He said that he's a teacher at Jujutsu High. And considering how Fushiguro was about to exorcise Itadori at the end of the episode, this Jujutsu Tech is obviously a big deal. I wonder if it's going to be Fushiguro who will snitch about Itadori's transformation because of that sealed object to that teacher. Or maybe not. He seems like a good guy, so he'll probably become friends with Itadori later on. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Still though, the hype for this is on a whole nother level than Tower of God or God of High School. Even though it's a non-sequel, the hype level rival those of well-reputed sequels. Looking at the other elements of this episode, I love how they animated it. They made sure that the serious scenes made an impact, and they still managed to make it look like a shonen anime. While the first episode of God of High School had more appealing animation, this one is just right. It blends well with the theme, and it's only going to continue to get better as we get more and more action. The soundtracks also blended well with the scenes that oftentimes I didn't even notice them. Well, it's Studio Mappa we are talking about. They showed us some top tier action with the God of High School after all, so this anime is in good hands. Also, I am very amazed at how well studios choose voice actors. The voice actor of our main character is Inoki Junya. He has a calm and rational voice that doesn't sound very shonen anime protagonist-like, and yet I can't even imagine Yuji with any other voice actor's voice. Seriously guys, kudos to all these anime studios. They never leave any stone unturned, do they? I am excited for the upcoming episodes, and I know that you are too. So what do you think about this episode? Share your opinion in the comments section down below. I'm very interested in hearing your thoughts on this. And that concludes my initial thoughts / review of episode 1. I do plan on doing this weekly. If you guys want to see more like this, make sure you hit that like button. It all helps the channel. If you're new here and it's your first time visiting my page and you like what you saw, make sure you hit that subscribe button. As always, thanks for tuning in. I'm the Bearded Saiyan. I'll see you guys next time.